Hello and welcome to East Science High, where atoms unleash their true potential energy. I'll show you around some of the cliques in the school, and maybe some of these guys can be your future friends. There's a popular clique. There's always a popular clique. In this school, it's composed of hydrogen, carbon, oxygen, and nitrogen. On one hand, they think of themselves as super important to life in the school, but they can also be pretty self-centered. Take nitrogen, for example. He's a bit of a jock, looks great, but a bit arrogant. He's always bragging about his fertility, and he smells pretty off sometimes. What you can't deny is nitrogen's self-confidence. He doesn't need anyone else for validation. His strongest bond is to himself, hands down. Nitrogen is all over campus as well. You'll likely meet him soon, and overall, he's one of the better ones in the popular clique. Oxygen is really the bully of the school. You'll probably find them corrosive, toxic, or just mean. They make a point to deride and degrade anyone they don't like, and they stick around the popular elements quite a lot. One point to their credit is that Oxygen frequently protects us from adults who want to do us harm. Having a big bully on our side can occasionally be helpful. This is just a rumor, but I heard that carbon and oxygen have been getting together more recently, and hydrogen, who is oxygen's current significant element, would not be happy about that. Hydrogen is another one of those elements you'll find all over the place. Some people call hydrogen basic, some acidic, but no one can deny their popularity. Whether it's bonding with everyone, hanging out anywhere except the classrooms, or making something really cool, everyone gets along with hydrogen. They are also one of the oldest elements, probably graduating soon, and as I mentioned, they're currently in a relationship with oxygen. Carbon rounds out the clique, and in many ways is what makes them notable. Most of their time is spent with hydrogen, oxygen, and nitrogen in all sorts of strange friendships, relationships, and power dynamics. They definitely party it up though, and are usually the ones who supply the booze, but carbon can also get their study on as well. Basically, they're the overachievers, the super nerds of the class. This guy is an expert on basically everything from nanotubes to noses. If you have an academic concern, being friends with carbon could be a lifesaver. I just don't know how any element with that active a lifestyle finds any time to sleep. The outsider to watch with this whole carbon, hydrogen, oxygen drama is Cesium. Cesium is one of the most punctual students and will happily remind everyone, including the teachers, when a student arrives late to class. It's like they invented the second or something. Why are they so particular? Anyway, Cesium is a bit jealous of oxygen, and I bet that's because they have a crush on hydrogen. When Cesium sees hydrogen and oxygen together, they'll blow their top. I bet that means Cesium is rooting for carbon in this whole thing. But maybe they just hate oxygen, who knows? They're a curious character, but definitely one worth knowing if you're into that type of drama. I should probably introduce you to the previous new kid on the block. This is Oganessen, another colorful character. They're a rich kid, but more old money rich. I think their family was some type of nobility or something a couple hundred years ago. Oganessen has many acquaintances, but few real friends, which could be good or bad depending on who you'd like to be meeting. On one hand, Oganessen is never in one place for very long, and is always meeting new people, but on the other hand, they're not very reactive and can't form many strong bonds. The next group we'll call the Band Geeks, since they spend way too much of their free time in the music room backstage with Saturn, who does some grading and just keeps them on time to their next class. Silicon is the conductor, but they're not very good at it in kind of a strange way. They work quite well when it matters. If Silicon is heated up, angry, or feeling competitive, they will conduct very well. But in normal practice, when Silicon's just cool, they don't really transmit properly. Luckily, Silicon works with a talented orchestra. Zinc is on trombone, and Copper is on trumpet. You'll actually notice Copper and also Tin's skin look kind of weird. They tried to go to the beach recently, but it was bad weather, so they just pretended they did and put on lots of bronzer. They're kind of suffering the consequences now. Anyways, Boron and phosphorus are the other two outstanding musicians, and honestly, the trio of silicon, boron, and phosphorus is really dope to listen to. Well, that was everyone I was hoping to talk about, but there's so many more elements I could go on for days. I hope you enjoy the school and find some fun people to be friends with.